Okie dokies, it's that time again. I've been a bit dormant since before Christmas, because life is as life is. As we can see, or just about, I have irregular TK legs waiting to be transformed. Get rid of this crappy strapping, because we can put poppers on that. So, this is an old TK I picked up. I've added the central strips of 3mm ABS across the top just to give it a better look. Obviously, you can probably tell this is a lot whiter than this, but it's not going to be a problem because that's going to be weathered in. So, what am I doing with it? Obviously, a bit of weathering. But we're going to make this little buddy a little incinerator trooper. It's got to be done. Mandalorian's out. I made one of these already. He's upstairs. I thought I'd make another one. So, who wants to come along for a ride? So I've got some masking tape. This is amazing masking tape. It's not the really thin stuff. This is the 10mm. If you get the 5 or the 3mm, you can bend it around really nice lines. But failing that, you can get normal masking tape, stick it on something, put a ruler down it, trim off a little bit, and then you can bend it around shapes and curves. So, what we need to do, I've had a look at some images online. Obviously that's what everyone's going to do. But this little fella kind of shows me roughly what's going on. So I've made a start. We've got one forearm. So this is like Model Craft masking tape precision. So I've got one bit of tape on already. So we'll use him as a reference. Let's get taping. Tape from the actual edge. And then we're going to move on to the painting section, which shall be fun. So I've managed to follow that line all the way around. So you don't get, if you follow the line round, you won't end up with a square edge. You'll follow the contours of the item. Yeah, we're going to move on to the paint. I'm going to be airbrushing him. I've got some Maskell latex, which I'm going to be using very sparingly. This is one I've previously masked up using the tape. Now this tape is, what do you call it? Let's have a look, see. Model Craft masking tape, precision, ideal for modelling, airbrushing, hobbies, small DIY tasks. Would we class this as a small DIY task? It's definitely DIY. Now the good thing about this is because it's quite thin. This is 10mm. You can get 5mm as well, which is a lot better. I've got some in the shed that's, I think it's blue, but I thought I'll grab this. I'm going to be using a lot of it, and it came with 2. Down at my local craft store, just down the road here, which is good. If they're not local, what you can do, not local, if you haven't got a craft store near you, or haven't got the time to go out and get one, get some masking tape, stick it down on a shiny surface, and then you can, obviously not like I am now, we're using a scalpel and adult supervision, you can cut yourself out a strip you can use. But always use the straight edge, not the edge you've cut, and then you can place it on things and you can bend it to the shape you need it to be. So, obviously I've made a start on this one. This one's, I've masked up, that's going to be red, this is going to be red, and this bit's going to be red. We're going to be adding a little bit of Maskell to it when we do the red for our battle damage, but I am going to use it quite sparingly because I have a secret weapon that's going to give us our battle damage Some people use Maskell, which is like a latex. It is a latex-based masking substance, or you can use mustard or toothpaste. It's anyone's preference to what they really want to use. I personally, I like using Maskell just because that's what it's for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my little tool here and decide how big I want my line, because this little fella, I've had a look at some reference pictures online, but you see he's got a little red line around the bottom of his leg there, one around the top of this one, knee plate, arm, hands, you know the score. So all I've got to do, I've had a look at some reference pictures. If you need to know the exact width of this line because you want to get this cleared by the 501st, that's a bit shoddy, isn't it? Because you want to get it cleared by the 501st, you can look up on their armoury page and it'll tell you the exact width of this line, where they've all got to be. But I'm not looking to have this cleared, so I'm just going to take my own artistic license on it. So I'm going to say I want my line to be about that thick. It'll probably be a little bit thinner, but you know, I want it to show up. I want it to look quite nice. So I'm going to stick that on there, and I'm just going to make a little pencil mark. I'm going to do it with my right hand, and I'm left-handed. Come on, big hands up to the lefties. Not singling out the righties either, but hey, you know lefties, we rock. So I'm going to put a little mark there. This gives me a reference for my tape. There. And I'm going to do this points on my leg, and that way I can bend the tape around the leg. I hope you can see alright. It's a bit hard when my hand's over the top. I can follow the tape around them dotted lines, so I can bend the tape and keep a constant. Sit, boo-boo. Riveting, I bet. I'm watching thinking, wow, this is so exciting. No. Right, so I've got some tape. This is my 10mm tape, but I've trimmed it down. I've taken a slice off of it. Don't know if that's enough. And this gives me the advantage of being able to bend it. So I'm going to turn it round because this is factory side. I want a nice straight side. Actually, we're going to start with this one. So I need to put my little horizontal line on. Now, the bottom of the leg is actually at an angle, but I want it to be straight. So my line is going to sit like that. And push it down, just slightly get it into that crack there so don't get any bleed over. I will be airbrushing this. This just makes it a lot tidier, and then you can avoid a lot of bleed over with a brush, which to me makes sense. Now I'm going to follow this line round and then try and convince the tape to do the same. It's a bit smaller. So what I do here is you just now what you don't want to do is be sliding your scalpel across your armour and putting big gouges in it. Or if you, don't know, you might be doing stickers on cars or whatever you're doing. What I find is if you've got a nice sharp scalpel, I normally place that on top of my tape and then I just pull the tape across the blade. That gives you a perfect cut. This is really good for doing angles. So if you needed to stop at a point there and then come the opposite way, like that maybe, and you want a nice sharp line. Use like, how do I get that sharp line without scoring? There you go, look at that. Now if you masked this bit in and painted that, you'd have a nice perfect line there. Little top tip for you. And then it saves you scoring your armour or a piece of what do you call it? The cosplay. Peel the tape off and then there's a big scratch in it and the paint's all bled into the scratch. Bleeded? What kind of language is bleeded? Comments below. How good isn't my English? Because I speak proper English like what the Queen does. Three lines thick. It's definitely quiet when I'm concentrating. Okay. quick. Rapunzel, Rapunzel. Let down your curly hair. I may be thinking it's a long way of going about it. But, as you can see, I hope you can. Gives us a nice constant line. Make sure you push it down so you don't get any bleed through. Like that. And put that across like that. And we're going to straighten that out. Like that. So you get a nice straight line across the back. And this side looks bigger than this side. I'm not too worried about that because the inside of the leg has got a line that comes over this way. There's another line there which I shall put in a moment. Now, what I can do is use my little calipers. I can gauge the width of that line, and you can work out where that line's got to go. That's slotting all over the place. And then you could just mark that with a pencil. As you can see, my line's not perfect. Where are we? So it goes from the top of the line there round to the bottom, which is rubbish.